A disabled girl from the countryside entered the city for the first time. She finally found a job serving drinks, but because she was missing both arms, she was often bullied by thugs. One day as she fled a private room in panic, she accidentally ran into a CEO who had just been drugged. The CEO saw she had no arms and felt sorry for her. In a rage he drove all the thugs away, but just as he was about to check on her, the drug in his system suddenly kicked in. Confused and delirious, he mistook the girl as his cure and pushed her into the room. 3 minutes later, he threw a bank card on the table, kindly advising her to find a better job. The girl's eyes turned red as she shook her head, crying that she hadn't done anything shameful, and would never accept his charity. She stumbled out the door, and tripped over the carpet without noticing. That exact moment, the CEO's grandmother walked in and saw everything. She rushed forward to help the girl up. After hearing what happened, her face darkened. Without a word she grabbed her grandson's ear, and scolded him in front of everyone to take responsibility, then declared they'd go get a marriage license immediately. The girl was stunned. She knew the grandma meant well, but she still lowered her head and refused. She was born with a disability, and didn't want to burden anyone, but the grandma just felt more heartache. She pulled out a check on the spot, offering 100 million as a bride price, only asking if the girl was willing to marry into the family. The girl was frozen. All she could think about was her father lying in the hospital bed, the 200,000 for surgery weighing heavily on her. In the end she bit her lip and agreed, but only accepted the 200,000. She said she wasn't marrying for money. The CEO sneered coldly, certain she was just a greedy gold digger. Even so, under his grandmother's pressure he married her. But at the moment they got the certificate, he told her they'd be getting divorced in a week. What he didn't expect was that the kind-hearted girl returned to the hotel the next day, and quietly applied for a janitor's job. She was determined to repay the 200,000 on her own, even though she was the CEO's wife. She wore a cleaning uniform and scrubbed floors all day. When the CEO found out, his feelings were complicated. He was both moved and angry. He immediately ordered people to secretly watch her every move. But right after he left, the scheming woman arrived at the hotel excitedly, planning a fake run-in, but instead accidentally bumped into the girl. Seeing who it was, she looked utterly disgusted, blaming her for dirtying her priceless shoes. The girl bowed and apologized, trying to kneel down and wipe the shoes clean. The scheming woman screamed and stepped back. Her friend stepped up with a smirk, saying the shoes were a limited edition. Even tens of millions couldn't buy them. They demanded the girl pay for the damage on the spot, but she couldn't afford it, so they said she should lick the shoes clean instead. What they didn't know was that the woman scrubbing toilets before them was actually the CEO's wife they'd been scheming to get close to, and the price they were about to pay would be far beyond what they could handle. Just then, the CEO's grandma came to the company to visit her granddaughter-in-law, only to see the girl being surrounded and humiliated. She rushed over and helped the girl up. After hearing the truth, her face turned stormy. She immediately announced her identity, and told everyone this was her granddaughter-in-law. But the scheming woman didn't believe it, saying a disabled girl from the countryside wasn't good enough for the CEO, wearing luxury brands. She arrogantly ordered security to kick them both out, and even threatened to speak to the CEO. She tried to get physical, but thankfully the general manager arrived in time. Unfortunately he was new, and didn't recognize the CEO's grandmother. Seeing how expensive the scheming woman looked, and how cheap the girl's uniform was, he assumed the scheming woman was the real wife. Trying to please her, he ordered security to stop the grandmother and the girl. Others even slapped the girl's face repeatedly, mocking and insulting her openly. The grandma was shaking with rage, and the next second, she suddenly clutched her chest and collapsed. But no one around moved. Not a single person offered help. Meanwhile, the assistant burst into the CEO's office out of breath, and told him the whole truth.